What's going on? Chat, we in the building, guys. Hey, we finna do a reaction video, and this is going to be to a category specifically, you know what I'm saying, based off of things that I know you guys would like watching, you know what I'm saying? And I think it's interesting too. So it's pretty much scary, well, creepy and scary TikTok, you know what I'm saying, stories. It's a compilation, so all that's gonna be in the video. So I mean, hey, you finna watch some crazy stuff, and I'm ready to get scared if it's scary enough. But you know, I'm not really ready to get scared at my soul, but I'm ready to get, you know what I'm saying? Cause I watch scary movies and stuff. I'm ready to see some real stuff. You know? So yeah, grab this. But yeah, y'all go ahead and y'all do what y'all gotta do. So if y'all gotta use the bathroom, you might wanna go ahead. If you gotta go get some food, you might wanna go ahead. If you gotta do anything, just go ahead. Because see, I wanna be able to react and not stop the video. So if I had to start the video, I'm not gonna spend too long talking. Let's get started.
This is the most scary and dangerous animal to ever live on Earth. This is Titanoboa. This is an ancient snake that lived over 58 million years ago. And according to scientists, for nearly 10 million years, it was the largest predator on the planet. Titanoboa's length was 43 feet long, and its weight was well over a ton. This snake was so big that you could lay 2 giraffes on the ground, and Titanoboa will still be longer. If you still can't comprehend how big this snake was, on the left is a vertebrae of an anaconda, which is the biggest snake.
So this is about a snake.
On the right,
Titanoboa is
Titanoboa was 3
Titanoboa.
And Titanoboa can swallow a hippopotamus whole. Titanoboa was a blood.
So you know that a Titanoboa gotta be real big if it's swallowing hippopotamus.
Super lucky Titanoboa is not around anymore.
Alright, that was straight.
About the hairdo. There was a middle-aged woman who always wore her hair in a bun. She was very proud of her hairdo and thought she was the most fashionable of all her friends. The woman was very lazy, and she didn't like spending the time cleaning her hair or styling it. Instead, she just left her hair how it was, and she never even washed it. Whenever she took a shower, she would wear a shower cap so the water didn't mess up her hair. After a while, her hair began to smell, so she used hairspray to cover the smell.
Dude, I ain't gonna cap, bruh. Her house gotta be stank. At least with her bed at. Let's start there. Cause if you don't wash your hair that damn long in a ball, I'm pretty sure if you even cut in there, if you get a knife and cut in that, when you look in there, you're gonna see a whole bunch of brown, white, dust flakes, bugs of all sorts in her hair. In her hair now. Wear a face mask if you're a hairstylist. Because some people really just don't. And there's nothing wrong with what you like doing. If that's your preference, do what you do. We're not here to judge. We just here to state facts.
Not come down for breakfast. So her husband went up to the bedroom to wake her up. To his horror, he discovered that his wife had died during the night. At first, the police thought she might have had a heart attack. However, when they conducted an autopsy, they examined her hair and found something terrifying. A black widow spider made a nest in her hair and laid many eggs. When the baby spiders hatched, they had bitten through her skull and ate their way into her brain.
What did I tell y'all? If you cut the hair, you're gonna find bugs, right? It's crazy, bro. Like, as a person, mentally, I would be asking myself that. Like, you gotta have bugs in there, mold and stuff, because hair gets mold. It grows mold. Damn sure all the hair that you put in a pile.
He on the fall and he was unconscious. The doctors found swelling in his brain, and he had to get surgery immediately. After the surgery, he went into a coma. A few days later, he recovered, and his friend went to go visit him in the hospital. Chris then told him about the strange dream he had while he was unconscious. In the dream, he was at a train station. There was nobody else in sight. When the train pulled up to the station, he got in. There was nobody on the train. He was completely alone. Then he heard a crackling voice on the speakers. It said, "Next stop, final stop." Next stop, end of line. Something about the announcement sent the chill down his spine, and he jumped out of his seat and managed to get off the train. Just as the doors were closing, he woke up from his coma. The doctor said he was between life and death. He then said to his friend, "If I hadn't gotten off that train, I believe the end of the line meant I would have died."
I don't know, man.
This is why you always say yes to tandoori chicken.
It's different.
In 2012, a high school tutor and her student stayed up so late one night studying that by the time they were done, the buses had stopped running. Without another way home, the student asked if he could stay the night at her place. Reluctantly, she agreed. When they got back to the apartment, she fell asleep on her bed and he fell asleep on a blanket next to her bed on the ground. A few hours later, she wakes up standing awkwardly in the middle of the room with a very strange look on his face. She asks him, "What's wrong?" He looks at her and says, "I'm really hungry. Let's go get some tandoori chicken." Confused, she says, "It's 2 a.m. Just get a snack in the cupboard." And he grabs her by the arm and he says, "No, we are getting tandoori chicken right now." And he yanks her from the bed. Feeling totally caught off guard by this whole situation, she goes into the hall with the boy, and as soon as the door shuts behind them, she can tell that he is terrified. He looks at her and just says, "I'm not actually hungry. When I woke up, there was someone under your bed."
And that right there is creepy. Now that little photo that they just showed at the end is creepy, bro.
I still can't believe that this form of torture is real and is this bad. The form of torture I'm talking about is white room torture. It is basically where prisoners are isolated in white rooms, wear white clothes, and eat white food from white plates. Now you might be thinking, how could this be that bad? Well, white room torture is a form of psychological torture concerning complete isolation and sensory deprivation of the prisoners. So you see nobody else and you hear absolutely nothing except for yourself.
Don't put me in that room.
Is white race.
Dang, I might go cap. I'm gonna lose my mind, boy. Put yourself right there, mentally, in an all-white room.
You slip it right back under when you're done. This form of torture is so bad that the prisoner loses his own identity in the process. You cannot remember who you are, and you can't remember any of your family. The result of this torture is the loss of identity and forgetting everything you ever knew. You come out.
Hey man, y'all go watch this movie called Escape Room. I think it's called Escape Room or Escape.
Yes, the picture at the end is.
Or Box. They got videos, movies on Tubi, bro. Like called Box.
Goes missing. After years go by and no one has
Escape
what
Room.
happened to this woman, friends
Like all these different type of things, bro. Like all these different type of things, bro. And it's like living in that. If you've seen the video that me and my wife seen, right, in a box. You see it like in a box, bro. They're in a box, bro. And it's like about 8. It's really like, I was about to say 18, but it's like really about 30 people that came all together, but only 18 to 15 people were showed on the camera persistently throughout the whole movie. And you kind of ask yourself, what happened to everybody else? And then they only show you 2 people who actually did, you know what I'm saying, stay, but, you know what I'm saying, they didn't go with them. They actually got to go home because they wasn't accepted to be an experiment. So they was safe, unlike everybody else who had to go. Yeah. Let's get back to the video. All right. I'm 11. What's the time on this? Where I'm at? Hold on, guys. I'm 5 minutes and 7 seconds in, man.
Move on.
In the
25
video.
years later, and this anonymous letter shows up on the Attorney General's desk, claiming that the missing woman's family had a secret. Intrigued by the letter, the police go to the family's home, show it to them, and ask to search the property, to which they say, go for it. They search, they don't find anything, but on the way out, they notice something very peculiar. At the end of some stairs was a door that was padlocked shut. When the family refused to open it, the police break it down and make a horrifying discovery. Cowering on a rotten straw mattress in a pitch black room was the missing woman, now 50 years old and extremely malnourished. Her mother had imprisoned her there after they'd fought over her boyfriend, and she had not seen sunlight
That's
as
crazy.
a human being in 25 years.
There's only one way to reach the top.
Sorry, guys, I had to. They have, you know, I'm in the house. So the other side was a little loud. I don't know if you guys can hear it. So I wanted to make sure that everything kind of level out.
Normal-looking photos that have a disturbing backstory, Part 8. This shadow is permanently etched on the steps of Hiroshima following the nuclear explosion that killed over 70,000 people. The boy in this photo is Esteban Reiner. The Nazis who took his photo made him put this uniform on, smile for the picture, and knew exactly what his fate would be.
Bro, that's lame,
He was
bro.
killed in a gas chamber. A similar story for this girl whose photo was just taken by a Nazi photographer after Germany had just invaded Poland.
Oh,
You can tell by her
man.
smile that she had no idea what was to come. This photo shows 3 young girls smiling together for a selfie. On the right-hand side of the photo, you can see a light, which is the headlight of a train which hits them moments later. While this photo appears to be just an ordinary large-class photo,
Bro, that's
the 2
real,
boys at
bro?
the top left are responsible for the
3 women sitting in a photo, and then
which at the time
the other 2 already throwing me off.
American history and killed 12 students and 1 teacher.
Making people force people to smile in their death photo.
Now, don't be fooled by this photo, because this story is called The Demon Dog. For the short term they knew him, they called him Shanks. So if you haven't guessed it yet, Shanks is an American people. But ever since Mark found Shanks, there was just something off. See, Shanks was fit, tough, and a very strong-looking dog. But when you looked into his eyes, there was something evil that wanted to get out. The Shanks was a stray. He was found covered in blood months ago. They said that it was blood from a carcass or something that he had eaten to try and survive. But after we saw Shanks attack Robin Warman while she was hanging out her washing, we knew it wasn't for surviving. You see, Robin was 8 months pregnant when Shanks hunted her down and attacked her. Police said that they couldn't even recognize her once he'd finished ripping her apart. And
Dang, so she was just dealt with by a
Since
dog.
he ran away
See,
that
guys, you
night,
gotta be really careful with the
cars
animals.
started to step forward,
Like,
all with
I got a
gruesome
cat,
stories about Shanks.
so
And all
don't think
were
I don't
refused to
dislike
describe to
animals. I
police what he looks like. Because he still
There's a
stalks
dog next door, and he comes in my yard all the time, so I have no issues with
In
animals.
2012,
But
2 brothers were playing
you gotta
in
be
the
really
backyard,
careful about
and they
certain
noticed their
ones.
dog
You just don't know. There's stories about all of them out there.
The dog broke down
Let's
the
just
fence
start there,
and
guys.
kept eating up. What's crazy is the dog collapsed and died in the hole. And this is
Hey, y'all,
where
don't
the
forget to
story
like
of
and
Shanks
subscribe,
is
too.
a week or so later, some friends came over with their dog too, and their dog did the same thing and died in the hole as well. Hearing the children cry, the neighbour came over and he explained to them about the prior owners of the house. He told them that the owner had killed stray dogs and buried them underneath the house. The parents were disturbed by this, so they contacted the police.
So a
When they
dog
started digging up the
killer.
shed, they not only found a pet cemetery, but they also found bodies in the backyard. Police went next
Them
door to
photos
question
is
the old
mad
man that
evil,
had come
bro.
over and told them all
Or
about
should I
the
say
cemetery.
creepy, bro?
But it turns out he had died
A line of
10
kids
years
with
ago.
animal faces, bro. It's just not normal.
This is a creepy story about the first boyfriend.
Well, I mean, it ain't nothing in life really normal,
She just got her
right?
first boyfriend. She was so happy and never felt this way before in her life. Every day she brought him over her house, and her dad began to get annoyed because she wasn't spending that much time with him anymore. One day, Rachel's dad told her that her boyfriend was not allowed over the house anymore. Rachel began screaming and crying and ran up the stairs and went to her room. A couple days later, Rachel decided to sneak her boyfriend in the house one night. When her boyfriend got to the house, Rachel tiptoed down the stairs and let him in. Then they went to her room. About 30 minutes later, her boyfriend had to go to the bathroom. Rachel whispered to him to be quiet. After 10 minutes, her boyfriend was still not back. So she went out to see what was taking him so long.
What y'all
When
doing?
She opened her door, her dad
Your
was
significant
standing
other
there
goes to the
covered in
restroom and then
blood,
don't come
behind
back.
her boyfriend's dead body. Her dad then looked at her with a smile on his face and said, "Nobody will ever take my little girl from me."
Whoa! So the daddy killed the. Okay.
Here's the truth behind Minions. So we all
It had an
remember
answer to it.
Despicable
I was finna
Me,
say, man,
but
it's a
they're not
mystery
what they
type
are.
story, but
The
it had an
truth is
answer.
Minions are based off of
It had a.
horrific Nazi
It didn't
experiment
probably
that
have.
took
Well,
place
it did.
in
It had a
1944.
conclusion,
This
honestly,
crazy
because they
German
figured out
scientist
who it was, but
manipulated
it probably
Jewish
didn't have
kids
no
and turned them
all
into
like.
slaves. Have you
The
bet on how
victims
much
probably
they
didn't have really
forced
no
on
full
the children so they
understanding,
can't speak
or not
or
the
see properly?
victims that
Moms were
passed.
so happy that they stunned their
You know,
children
that's
to
about
grow,
like
so they'd be
the
short, just like
parents or you
Minions.
know the peers of the person who was.
I can guarantee that the end of this video
When
is
I
going to
leave.
shock you. There was a young girl who had trouble making friends because her mom wouldn't let her play with the other kids in the neighborhood. One day, the mom left to go to the store, so she snuck outside of the house. She grabbed her teddy bear and went outside, but still, none of the kids wanted to play with her. Eventually, a strange-looking boy approached her and said that he wanted to be her friend. The little girl was thrilled to finally have a friend her age, and he eventually asked if she wanted to come to his house to play. When they arrived,
This
the
is
little girl
crazy,
was
bro.
confused because the house appeared to be abandoned like no one had been in there for years. They walked into his garden and immediately the girl threw up. She asked him for some water and he just smiled at her creepily and said, "You're going to sleep here sometime soon." Weeks later, the girl went looking for him and he was nowhere to be found. Soon, a paper airplane flew to her and it was a newspaper clipping. She opened it up to find that the boy she'd been playing with went missing 9 years ago.